are readied up. Looks like they're both strength HP tonight. Little D against capital Z. And they are off and running. It's pretty synced up. I'll be excited to see how this matchup progresses here. What's going to be in the treasure room here? The throne room has some gold. And an herb. Gonna check for the return spell. It's not there. They're starting with the stop spell this time. Be looking for slimes and red slimes, and potentially maybe an early town. Let's see who does some early exploring and who is going to stick around for some slime hunting. Near the castle, obviously, are higher encounter rate locations, so they'll stick around there to try and encounter enemies as quickly as possible so that they can raise their experience points. Close to the castle, we're finding poltergeists and wraith knights and wolves. Both players hitting the reset button so that they can hang on to that gold. They may very well take the next minute or two to venture off in a couple of different directions looking for a town, but you don't want to take too long for fear that the other player is gaining experience while you are exploring. Partly running from a ghost. They're not strong enough to defeat a ghost, but she does do 2 damage on a slime, and she's on the board for 1 whole experience point. We have a town for JJSchmidt. Picking up some early equipment there. The hand axe. And the extra herbs in the early game can help with exploration if you decide to keep going further. Although, once they grab this early equipment, I wouldn't be surprised if they stick around near the castle to fight those weak enemies. And JJ dons the scale of the dragon. Sparkover loading up on herbs as well. And maybe a couple of torches. Yes, she's got to remember to don the scale also. Not doing so yet that I saw. There it goes, donning the scale. So both players with some early equipment. And blue dragons. Very close to the castle. So the castle of zones right around the castle that are meant to provide weak enemies, but very shortly away from there, it could be totally randomized. And as we see, a short walk from the castle yields blue dragons this time. JJ decide to go without a weapon. Pick up the leather armor. I see him still struggling to damage ghosts, so that's an interesting decision. Going with the herbs and some armor instead of buying the hand axe. Unless maybe he didn't have enough money in the early to buy the hand axe. If that happens to you, you can reset the game and try for a larger roll on the treasure chest. Didn't get a close look at happened to him or not, but hand axe for Sparkover is going to give her quite an advantage here. Using the stop spell on the Warlock as well. Let's see if she can out-hit him here. That's 28 experience points, and she is zooming up to level 4 now, I believe, while JJ is still stuck on level 1. And that treasure chest is variable in the amount of gold it provides. I think somewhere between 500 and 750. Even if you have if you had saved the menu and erase your save file and just restart the game from scratch, and this is one of the few cases where I may have done that if I were him, but let's see if he can make do. Okay, well he is doing some damage on the Magitraki now. Some level 2 stat gains. Sparkover exploring now. Finding a forest surrounded by ocean, so she'll double back and run straight into a red dragon. 51 damage. So she'll be avoiding that area, maybe? Perhaps choosing a different direction to explore. So the lack of weapon maybe not going to be an issue for JJ after all, as he unfortunately misses the Hurtmore on the Wraith Knight, which I think only has a 3 in 16 chance of resisting Hurtmore, but luckily surviving the initial attack and getting the 72 experience, and now he's on level 5, so the early Hurtmore perhaps bailing out JJ Schmidt, and he is looking in this desert for more Wolf Lords and Wraith Knights. He may have found a pretty good grind zone for that Hurtmore usage. A bit low on MP, and Sparkover is going to be going through the Swamp Cave to see if it backs into anything interesting, and she has the backside of Garenham now. So no need to use the key on that door that they saw earlier. They can just go in the back door here. She's got an herb, the Death Necklace, the Stones of Sunlight, early quest items in the books for Sparkover, but unfortunately no sword. That would have given her advantage as well, although early Hurtmore does even things out pretty well, and another red dragon and another one-hit kill. She is back to the castle. To a lesser extent, maybe the Wraith Knight, all providing really good experience. Rogue Scorpions can level up very quickly, and he is going to go after a gold man here. Having something in mind back in that shop in Garenham that he wants to buy, picking up 255 gold pieces from the gold man. Back door to Garenham, so he'll have the Death Necklace and the stones as well. Despite what looked like an early lead by Sparkover, this has evened out pretty well. In fact, JJ has a slight experience lead, but back and forth quickly as Sparkover picks up another 72. So finding Garenham. North and south so far. Another town for Sparkover. If she can just get past this wizard, and she does successfully run away from it, while JJ is choosing to grind this little desert square he's found. This a clearing, as you would say, in the midst of a dense forest, and he's finding lots of Hurtmoreable enemies here. Interesting choice, while Sparkover finds Hawksness. Again, potentially beatable if she can land a couple of Hurtmores against it but they do have about a 50-50 resistance, and she does not get the luck she needs. Let's see if she goes right back there, because you could find Erdrick's armor there, which would be quite helpful in the early game, as well as potentially Erdrick's token, one of the quest items they'll be looking for. Either just note that that's there for a little bit later when she thinks she's a little bit stronger to face the blue dragon, or she could get lucky and beat it at this point. Instead, it seems that she's exploring to the north, and JJ abusing this desert tile here. More wolf lords fall victim. Gold to get anything good out of the shops. Not even really wanting to see if there's something there for later. You know, if that town, if she feels like it's accessible enough and close enough to Tantegel, maybe a good move to just get out of there, and she can always come back later when she does have keys. Good enemy for Hurtmore. Making her way towards level 7, and she's got it. No power, but they don't really need power right now. A couple of extra smaller spells now, and the golems have hurt. That's actually good to know for later. In case they run into it, maybe a boss. Reaching a dead end. So, and pretty quickly and efficiently, we see a slight difference in philosophy with Sparkover choosing to do a little bit more exploration, and JJ is sticking to a grind zone that he feels really good about. And he has used that to gain a slight experience lead. Now he finds a metal slime with this will be a pretty big kill for him if he can manage to get it. Away with 2 damage. That's unfortunate for him, but still with a small experience lead, Sparkover has seen a few more overworld locations. Nothing that's really been a game changer though, so thus far, so it's a close race, and the is so Ouija, I wonder if you can adjust that on your end, because they're saying I'm actually behind on commentary. I'm looking at the fastest available for it. Apologize for that if I'm a little behind. How far behind would you say I am, Data? Popping up right now for Sparkover, if that helps. And Red Dragon, still one of the few enemies out there that you just don't want to see, even when you have Hurtmore. That does not do you much good against the Red Dragon. Away from, and JJ will have to from the castle, losing half his gold as punishment and a little bit of time loss while you're listening to the king lecture you about how he had to revive you, and you're busy dying to enemies out there on the overworld. A cave on the coastline for Sparkover has the Radiant spell, so she is going to have the Tablet Cave. She had outside though, so that'll be a little bit of extra time if she has to walk out of here, but Choosing to go forward now and see what's in the chest. Sword. Could be a quest item, or it could be an herb or a torch or some gold. And the cursed belt is found. It's probably not very useful in the very early stages of a game. You could potentially sell that cursed belt, gain some early equipment, but she's probably not worried about that at this juncture. Just another on the checklist to mark that you've found it and maybe note where it is on your map. And now JJ has knowledge of where Sharlock resides as he takes down a Magic Wyvern for more points. So 15 minutes into this race, and both racers are firmly into the mid-game, level 8, with some powerful spells, some equipment. JJ now clearly on the exploration, leaving that comfortable grind zone. I guess he's feeling that the difference between level 8 and 9. Level 8 at 600 experience, 9 you don't get until about 980 or 975, so that it was no longer worth his time to grind another level. Looking for more locations out there that they can find. Maybe on one stream, so bear with me. I'm going to attempt maybe a quick refresh of each stream. Wouldn't be surprised if I run into some Twitch ads while I'm doing that. Real briefly, now that they're in the mid-game, both are going to try and gain as much experience as they can while exploring. They're needing to find the quest items now, looking for the Erdrick's token, which could be on a search spot or in a chest, as the silver harp, which will be in a treasure chest. And so mainly they're looking for one of the 2 dungeons. Now has found one. The mountain cave has 5 treasure chests openly available. Does not need keys to gain access to these, so a good find here for JJ, especially if he finds the Erdrick sword in one of these chests. Happy to just acquire the quest items as quickly as possible as well. Making use of herbs to get through this. It's one of the challenges that can come up, is sometimes you have a pretty good amount of power, but you don't have any ability to heal yourself. So being able to sustain long journeys away from home could come down to a little bit of herb management. You know, popping by a nearby town for an inn stay. Out of MP as well, so he's going to just try and get these remaining chests as quickly as possible. I have not seen anything particularly so far, unless I missed one, but... And some more gold. I don't even think he has the outside spell, no. And there's not really a particular reason to suicide here because he doesn't have any keys. Maybe faster than walking out, but he's choosing to walk out. There's some decent enemies to fight along the way, so it's not like he's losing much time. And fighting to choose the gold man. He has more than enough gold, unless he knows of a full plate right around the corner that he wants to grab. Very similar experience totals, and exploration. JJ now having knowledge of what's in the mountain cave. Sparkover, and another red dragon death for Sparkover. I think she's getting a bit unlucky with those. course, making a beeline to the town, probably to replenish those herbs, as we talked about, having to use up some herbs while on his long journey. That's part of the deal here. I think that's a smart move in the herb shop, so I guess I was wrong about that, but very close to broadsword money, but not quite. And they know that the silver shield is there for later. Surprised to see him go right over to this desert tile, try and hurt more a couple of enemies, and go right back for that broadsword. So Sparkover now. Mid-game enemies. Specters are decent enemies to find. Hoping to avoid those red dragons while she... A whole lot of grass and desert. Not a lot of that direction, but continuing forward. Extra gold now, restocking on the herbs, as I mentioned, and probably looking for that broadsword. Let's see if he... And a broadsword is, I believe, plus 20, which is a solid weapon to have all the way until you find Erdrick's sword. Once you get the broadsword, it's only really a small gain to move up for the expensive flame sword, which I believe is plus 28, so he might be set now for weapons of the game, but you never know. Let's see what else he finds in nearby shops. If he does do a gold grind, that silver shield is sitting here very close to Tantegel Castle, so both players probably now hoping, for the most part, keys now. That's really the next logical step. And clearing out those dungeons is a good way to do it. Blue Dragon too tough for JJ. Sparkover level 10. My first peek over at the stats that we're looking at, and looking like pretty mediocre stats for that levels 9 and 10. Nothing that looks especially terrible, but nothing that looks especially good either. 47 strength, not too much issue if you have enough MP to cast a lot of Hurt More, but they will be looking to raise that strength score before the end of the game. All the other stats as well, so still a ways to go. Don't think that they were in the mountain cave where JJ went, so my guess is that both players have the stones, and broadsword for JJ and the large shield gives him a little bit of an equipment advantage. A little bit of disadvantage when it comes to experience, but maybe he'll catch up. Never know. And JJ now looking for some fairy water. That has been a strategy of note when they learn Repel late in the game. A mid-game exploration a little easier. And so what he did is he went ahead and used the fairy water immediately, and then bought another one for later. So perfectly reasonable. He's taking advantage of it now, trying to find as much being molested by weaker enemies. Of course, the Armored Knight is still going to ambush him and make life miserable. So that unfortunately didn't work out for JJ, as I believe the effects of Repel and Fairy Water wear off when you die and restart from the castle. So that's that effect. He's going to have to use his extra one. This cave for Sparkover. So I'm guessing it was some gold. Maybe I caught that out of the corner of my eye. No, it was a key. Was the key in the Stones Cave? Well, that's a pretty big find for Sparkover if that's the case. So, already been in the back door of Garanham, so that's not a concern as far as keys go. But they do have some chests to raid in the Tantegel Treasury, and they also have both seen Cantlin eventually use a key there to learn the coordinates of the overworld location, neither player knowing yet where the armor is, so could be useful to pick up those coordinates. And Sparkover also finds Rimuldar, so more keys for Sparkover. Kind of interesting development here. Thing that some players forget to do, and I believe she's too experienced to make that mistake, so there she goes now, looking for that chest, and occasionally something really good can be here, but oftentimes it's just an herb. Full stockpile of keys now puts Sparkover, I would say, in a slight exploration advantage situation now, and she has pulled a little bit of an experience lead as well, reaching level 11. Jay is still through level 10. So other locations where keys could potentially be useful is in the basement of Charlotte Castle, where the sword could be hidden there. Neither player finding Erdrick's sword yet, to my knowledge. The dungeon has 2 of its 5 chests behind a locked door. The Swamp Cave has the princess hiding behind a door as well, if it turns out that they don't want to try and manually count the coordinates looking for the armor. So occasionally you can have a seed where keys are not actually required to finish the game, but having them certainly is an advantage. She is casting Return now, and perhaps about to raid the treasury. So let's take a close look at what she finds. And the Erdrick sword is in the treasury, as well as the silver harp, so that's another quest item. Fighter's ring now for Sparkover as soon as she equips it, and hasn't done so yet. And there's also gold in the bottom right for a potential gold grind. She does equip the Fighter's Ring for +2 attack power. So pretty much the perfect treasury for Sparkover. The gold grind is available. She finds a quest item, finds the sword, and she's off and running. A pretty good lead now for her. Finds either Rimuldar or that Stones Cave. He is going to be without the sword. And Hurtmore can make up for that, although there are a handful of enemies which provide decent experience that Hurtmore is less effective against. So you run wild against these mid-strength enemies. But he's got some exploration to do if he wants to catch up here. Chat mentioning the Jerk Cave. I assume that was in the basement of Tanteagle while I was looking away. And it's always good to know where that is, because once you acquire the Staff of Rain, Sunlight, and the Erdrick's Token, you need to talk to that old man there. It's to Charlotte Castle to beat the game. So, one less thing on the overworld for her to have to find later. And Blue Dragon's still too tough. Unfortunately, even with that Erdrick Sword, their strength score is a bit low right now. Unless they gained a lot on that last level, but no, it's 108 attack power. They did gain a little bit with that last level, so she should be doing some damage to the Blue Dragon, but we'll be wanting to improve that strength score before the end of the game. And a few seconds back, JJ succumbs to a red dragon attack, so seems to be happening to both players, having to deal with restarting their journey from the castle to venture off efficiently in multiple different directions from the castle in order to find what they need to find. And at some point along the way, Sparkover will need to also find where another old man will give you the Staff of Rain when you trade in that silver harp that she acquired. So if at any time now she happens to stumble upon that cave, she can immediately trade that in. Whereas if JJ happens to find it right now, he's going to have to make a second trip back there later after he finds the harp. So various small advantages adding up right now for Sparkover. Let me get more current again here, and I see JJ's back at the castle once again. And 1 hit point for Sparkover, and Suicide's in the swamp. I assume that was on purpose. I don't believe they have any beyond herbs at this point. Neither player equipped with either the magic armor or the Erdrick's armor. And heal or the heal spell yet. You've got to kind of hop from inn to inn, or use your herbs, and maybe some of your decisions about what to fight away from play a role when you're far away from the castle as well. So we see Sparkover back now at Cantlin. We said that probably revisit when she got keys, and small shields for Sparkover for now to the coordinate. Well, she's actually going to check the third shop and perhaps restock on keys as well. So let's see what's in the third shop. A whole lot of nothing. Inventory for her key total and picking up a few extra keys here. You don't actually need to buy a whole lot of extra keys throughout the game in order to access all of the relevant areas, but make sure that you don't run out when the town of Rumildar is not necessarily really close by. So quickly checking the other shop, and now is traversing path en route to this old man who has the knowledge. 3 south and 18 east, so that's a comfortable walk. She's probably going to go there immediately, suiciding herself to start at 0, 0, and she'll be counting 3 and 18. Weak monster zones. That should be likely. She will do that immediately on the off chance that it's the armor. The armor could still be in a couple of other locations, but and count already. And it is the Erdrick's armor. Erdrick's armor now for Sparkover, and among other things, as I alluded to a minute ago, that actually provides a little bit of healing during your journey if you need to explore the far reaches of the map. Any heal spells. And of course, it provides the best defense boost in the game, plus 28. Virtually required in order to fight the Dragon Lord at the end. So, a very critical find for Sparkover, and now JJ is hoping to stop the bleeding here because he has found keys as well. If he's able to make up any time, or at least not lose any more time when it comes to this running around completing all these errands that you have to complete once you find keys. Now he's going to have to go back and raid the treasury, and he's going to have to go visit Cantlin to get the coordinates. So he's got a bunch of to do, and first he remembers that he needs to check this chest, and he's going to be disappointed with that result. And Sparkover able to take on Axe Knights, and unfortunately running into a red dragon. Have successfully run away from a red dragon yet. They are stubborn today. One more chance, and she runs away. And you can see there the screen turning from red to white. She is gaining hit points while she walks because she has that armor. Clear advantage in situations like this. JJ finds the key second, already stocking up on keys at Rimmeldar. Now he did use a couple on that Rimmeldar treasure chest, so to find that key, but choosing not to immediately return back to Tantegel. He's got some things to do there that will help him. But right now, he wants to preserve his position on the map. Perhaps still looking for a couple of things, such as the Rain Cave, which both players will need to find before the end of the game. Round on the map. And we have, looks like the Mountain Cave for Sparkover. Found earlier. As soon as she's done with this wizard, I can get another look. Now look at that. Wizards are attacking for just 11 damage. That doing work. So let me just take a peek here. Yeah, she's not actually defense. We can put the small shield, I believe, for Sparkover has the small shield. But even then, she's still not defense breaking wizards, but they are doing less damage. Everything's going to be doing less damage now. Taking another quick peek at these stats. Strength. And more MP as well. We're going to see now what she finds. Well, Hawksness not required because behind right now, I realize, but the token has been found by Sparkover. And a large shield as well. So now her defense rating, she's going to start defense breaking everything except endgame enemies now. Easier time traversing the map. Like, for example, this knight can't hit her very hard if we're to survive. Let me get refreshed here. So despite running a bunch of errands, Sparkover has maintained her experience lead. Looking at level 13 now for Sparkover. And decent stats across the board, a couple of additional spells. She's got almost all the spells now. And including, I think, some healing spells there finally on level 13. Yeah, she's got Heal More now. Now, she's got Urgix Armor, she's got Heal More, and she's got the Urgix Sword. She could start fighting red dragons at this point. Nothing really left for her to worry about on the overworld. So she could pretty quickly now cover the rest of the map. She has all 3 quest items. She's going to need to find that rain cave. Really the last thing she needs, actually. Before endgame. Now she has everything. She's got the sword and the quest items. There's the fighter's ring and the death necklace as well. Somebody found the death necklace. I think she may have. Oh, she may not end up going for the silver shield, and she may not need it. Next thing for her is to find cave on the overworld. It's the rain cave. Once she trades in that harp for the staff, she knows exactly where the rainbow drop can be acquired. See what her decision is for grinding, because it can often be less than optimal. Try and grind on. Although if they don't have anything special and your attack increasing to the point where you can just swing your sword and kill them in a few hits, then it starts to become a pretty good option. But we're not there yet. She finds the rain cave and immediately casts Return. She knows where that rainbow drop is. Pretty solid lead being established by Sparkover now. And JJ just learning the coordinates, so he will be on his way to pick up the armor. Behind on all of these tasks, unfortunately for him. And he's a little bit behind on experience as well. Sparkover decides on for grinding these last levels. She's going to restock herbs for the Charlock dive. Now, will she Charlock and fight the enemies in there? Will she Blue Dragon at Hawksness, or does she have mind? Definitely needs more levels, more experience. At the 45-minute mark, though, and she's basically done with everything she needs to do, except for hits. It's for her. JJ comfortably taking down wizards now that he has the Erdrick Sword. So he is and making good decisions with his fights. Just a little bit behind tasks that Sparkover has performed. Did a little bit more early game exploring. Maybe had a little bit more knowledge of more of the map than JJ did early. And despite doing that, she managed to also, with his early grind. So she's not in the experience deficit situation, which sometimes happens when you're doing some early exploring. And as a matter of fact, she's built up a experience lead now. And it looks to me like she may have the Silver Shield on her mind, because she's re-entering that she has the Rainbow Drop already. So I can't think of any other reason for her to be doing this other than she wants that Silver Shield. And that will put her in a very comfortable defense score. She'll be in the 90s as soon as she equips that for defense power. Dive significantly easier. Extra minutes to do this, but it could pay off at the end. And again, she could fight this red dragon, and she does. This is good experience now. She has the Heal More spell, finally. She's got enough attack power to do this, so it's going to pick up another 255, actually getting very close to level 14 now while she's exploring this mountain cave. So not losing a lot of progress from that standpoint while doing considered to be sort of a side quest here. Very flute if he did so. And he has moved on from there. We don't have the token listed for JJ, which that was in the town of Cole, I believe, right? So has JJ not yet found the town of Cole? So if not, then he has two things to find still. He's still looking for the Rain Cave to trade in that harp, and he's going to need to find the town of Cole to pick up the token. So from that standpoint, Sparkover with a commanding lead. Looks like bound to fight some additional red dragons. Didn't quite get that level, but very close. And now opening the chests that were not the make sure that she didn't accidentally ruin her gold grind. And now she is on her way to 15,000 gold, and it's a short hop over to the neighboring town to pick up the Silver Shield. So she should be done with that task in a couple of minutes, and we have Cole now for JJ. And JJ now has all the quest items. He's going to need that Rain Cave, though, before he can move on with end game activities. Eye on that, see if he manages to find the Rain Cave in a timely manner. Very best equipment in the game. Erdrick Sword, Erdrick Armor, and Silver Shield. And that results in defense power 92, attack power 113. And hopefully she'll gain some strength on this level up here. If I just one battle away, I think this Axe Knight will do it, if she didn't get it already. What she gets on this level up, and that may determine where she chooses to grind. If she thinks she has several more levels to go, she might make one decision. If she thinks she's maybe one level away, she might do something else. So we have 13 power, so we're getting much closer now. Unfortunately, still very low MP. And so, what do we have now at level 14 for Sparkover? 14 for Sparkover. So 126 and 66, not enough of itself. Would be much closer if she could equip the Death Necklace. Of course, HP is also an issue, so Death Necklace not really on the radar anytime soon. So she's going to need basically an improvement in all the stats by a small amount. Needs a little bit more HP in order to fight the Dragon Lord in the first place. So attack power to magic power, magic points, in order to have enough resources to fight the Dragon Lord. Its power is pretty much right where she wants it to be, so. Decides to do for a grind. Entering Hawksness. So with that power boost, as I said, that power boost gives her the confidence that she can kill this blue dragon damage in a relatively efficient manner. So if she's able to 3-shot this blue dragon consistently so that she doesn't have to actually cast Heal More during battle, then this becomes a very fast grind and most likely the correct decision. Unfortunately, it takes 5 attacks this time, but defensively holding up so she didn't have to heal during battle. And I think this is the best move. I think the Blue Dragon is the right move at level 14. At level 13, I wasn't so sure because low at that point, but lots of Blue Dragon corpses in our future here. She's going to be attacking this Blue Dragon over and over. It is a guaranteed encounter, so you don't have to spend time running around trying to get in a fight. The experience points per minute. Very efficient. 100 points to get to level 15. Trying to keep an eye on what JJ's been up to. So let me know if I miss him finding the Rain Cave, because that's the key for him. But finally, JJ now on level 13. Well, I guess he's had 13 for a little while, so he does finally now have Heal More quite a bit. Appears to be out of resources, so she'll need to find a place to heal. Uses her last 2 MP to cast another repel. She, with high defense power, is probably repelling almost everything in the game at this point. So with that repel active, she'll be able to traverse the map. Very many encounters. I see that JJ is back in Hawksness as well now. I have a bad feeling that I missed two. Does JJ have the rainbow drop now? Did he find the rain cave and did he revisit the jerk cave? Because he seems to be in grind mode. He is in Hawksness. Okay. So if JJ does have the drop, then it's just a race to see who can grind these next few levels faster. Sparkover has a commanding lead with about a 1500 experience lead, and now has reached level 15. 7 more power. It's getting closer. 3 at 71. Not quite gonna do it. Closer. Has virtually no either. So another level required for Sparkover. For a minute, JJ was seeking out the red dragons instead. More experience. They're 255 as opposed to 180, and if you were guaranteed to get them often, it could be an interesting idea, although it looks like those battles were taking quite a bit longer. So he has decided to go and fight the blue dragon. JJ did a pretty good job finishing up those tasks in order to get the rainbow drop. He found keys quite a bit later, so he had a lot of running around to do, but he's done with all that. Overshield. I suspect that JJ may opt to not get the silver shield based on the stats that he's seeing for himself now. Grind. Maybe 5 or 6 or 7 minutes behind on that. That's if they start killing this blue dragon even faster. And then to the dive and Charlock, and this game has quite a bit of randomness when it comes from running away from enemies and, you know, attack rolls during the Dragon Lord fight and things of that nature, and it just takes one failed dive for a race like this to flip, so it's not over yet. Let's see what we get on level 16 when Sparkover gets there. She needs about 9,800 or so experience points, and if she gets a really big power boost, that's all she needs. If she gets kind of a mediocre power boost, then we're going to start looking at other stats, like does she get some MP to... does she get some HP to potentially get some double attacks in there against the Dragon Lord? So, very good look at stats on the next level up to see if she wants to risk going in. Another common strategy racers might try in this situation is if they feel like they're one level away, Charlock early and try and pick and choose and fight their way down. and get the level up right at the end. And in this case, because MP is one of the stats that they're lacking, it makes that a little bit less desirable, though. For example, in Sparkover's position, she has the silver shield and she has 97 defense points right now. If she gets even like 2 more agility points on this next level up, 8, she'll be defense breaking enemies as strong as blue dragons. So go into Charlock and fight enemies without taking a lot of damage in the process, thereby conserving her MP for the final boss and leveling up on the way. So it's an option that's open, but it's kind of best used when you feel like you're on a borderline level and it's only going to take 1 more level to finish the game. We'll see if either player chooses to do that. That could make a difference. Up, so let's take a close look. No power. 1, 1, and 1. MTI, where are you, buddy? As MTI as it gets for one of the final levels. That was no help. She's going to be going to 17. Though it looks monotonous, you have to pay attention too, because if you die in the middle of this prematurely and have to walk all the way back to Hawksness, that could cost you some time with respect to your opponent. You have to gain several levels here on the grind. The other player could potentially catch up. Now, it appears that Sparkover has actually extended her experience lead. She has about a 2,300 point lead now, because I think she's hitting that blue dragon so hard that her battles are going faster. That's what tends to happen, but it's not over yet. This is into the Charlock dives. Sparkover with the advantage of having the silver shield. And now when we get up to these upper levels, it's quite a bit of experience between levels now too. So she's got to get all the way up to 12,000 experience points for level 17. She is hoping to do that before running out of MP and having to go back to heal. It looks like she'll probably be able to do that. She seems to be able to get through at least 1 fight each time. So she's got about 8 or 9 more blue dragons she could kill with these resources, 180 points per blue dragon. So I think she would really like to get that level in before having to go back and heal, but so much control over that you have. So we'll have to see as she gets closer. This next level will be one to watch closely. See what kind of stats she gets here. Looking at that window, she's currently at 133 attack power with only 72 MP. 72 gives you an opportunity to cast Heal More 9 times in the final battle. 133 attack power, not quite enough. But it's actually getting pretty close, so it could be on this next level. If she gets about 7 more power on this next level, I think it's go time. If she gets, for example, just 3 more power but 8 more MP, I think it's go time. I think if she gets power and about 20 hit points, I think it's go time as well. So there's a lot of different ways that these stats could get her there on level 17. Less than 800 points away. As I refresh now, she's less than 600 points away. I'll take a good look, see what kind of decision she has. JJ, meanwhile, midway through level 15, needing about 1,000 more experience to get to 16, which, as we know, will no help. Those dives, early dives and fighting your way down can be a gamble, because you may not get what you need, even if you think you're close. Dragging away. Let's see what happens here with Sparkover. This is going to be a big level up here to 17. One more hit perhaps, and there he goes. 180 experience, and we get 9 power, 12 MP. I think it's go time. Let's see how, what? Okay, well, finish out her MP that she has in store while she thinks about this. Currently defense breaking the blue dragon. Damage, 4 damage. My goodness. That's always fun to see. I think she thought about it while she was doing that and is deciding it is go time. Assuming she doesn't have to burn any MP on the way down, and that's where the high agility score of 102 and the high defense score of 101 comes into play. As long as she can get down there, she's got a pretty comfortable fight, I think. 100 hit points is enough to start with. 42 and 84. You're looking at having probably 1 heal more in reserve. So she shouldn't, in my opinion, she should not go for another level. She should not even fight her way down, in my opinion. Her way down would be relatively painless because she's defense breaking almost everything. So, she, well, she's back in Hawksness. I don't think she healed up. While standing here in Hawksness would help to have less experience to acquire fighting your way down. She's now about 1,600 experience points away from level 18. 18,250, I believe, for 18. So it's a little bit of indecision. She's been popping in and out of Hawksness. Now she's going back and healing up at Cole. So I want to see if she decides this is enough, or if she's going to fight her way down, or if she's going to go back to Hawksness. Meanwhile, JJ catching up and be closing in on 17. And for example, if JJ decides he's going to in other words, JJ right now could decide that it's time to fight his way down, and that could make for a very close race. Because he could do it, because even with the 72 hit MP, we know that he would gain enough power to make that viable. He does seem like he's planning on just finishing it out here. Oh, he casts Return, though. I think I smell JJ about to make a dive early here. This could be a close race, guys. If they're both going to be fighting their way down. JJ, I believe, is going in the direction of Charlock. I could be wrong. Wow, this is close, guys. JJ is going to finish up this level on the way down. Burn any MP. This is viable. Now, he does not have the silver shield. So he's only defense breaking enemies like this wizard. Enemies. Let me just double check. He has 87 defense, so he's defense breaking wizards and werewolves, I believe. He could pick and choose those battles and get enough. And that would make this a very close race. This race is heating up! Sparkover the first into the underground levels. Nicely. If things play out to where they both end up fighting the Dragon Lord on this dive, she has maybe a 1-minute lead here. Or maybe a couple of minutes, but it's close. Red Dragon is the only thing you don't want to see. She fails once, but she runs away. Very high agility score. She should have a pretty good chance of running away from Red Dragons at over 100 agility. Someone could correct me if I'm wrong. I think she might have more than a 50% chance at this agility score to run from this Red Dragon. Oh my goodness, and she takes the risk. Instead of using Heal More, she runs and successfully runs. And one more would have killed her there. And another Red Dragon, and again it blocks her in front. This race is not over. And again, let's see if she risks it. She has a Heal More to burn if she knows it. But she does not get away, and she's back at the castle, guys. Also back at the castle. And he decided that that level up was the one that he is refilling. This is lightning close now. Look at this. He's healing up, and he's going for it. And meanwhile, Sparkover has to refill her herb stock. Wow! Alright, she's got her last herb. She's got to get out of there and get moving here. Let's see if he has full herbs, but he's got the stats. He's got the level. But he's going to probably run into some Red Dragons, and he doesn't have the silver shield. Although that doesn't help so much with running away as it does for maybe taking a little bit less damage from that Red Dragon by just a few damage points, but from these wizards, he thinks he's done. He is not fighting any more enemies for the rest of the game, except for the mini-boss and the Dragon Lord. So, first Red Dragon encounter for JJ. And he does get away from that one. There are lots of Red Dragons on these top floors right now. Burn and heal more, so if they've run into an enemy that the mini-boss that they feel like they should use Stop Spell, for example, or perhaps Sleep against a Stone Man or something of that nature, they have the means to do that, as long as they don't cast Repel or use a Vanilla Heal, for example, would be another thing. So both of them fighting Red Dragons simultaneously, and JJ is slain. So Sparkover takes the lead again. JJ had a brief lead for a moment, and he's back to the castle. We're already running away from Red Dragon successfully on this dive. Let's see now, we have an Armor Knight. Full dive this is. And she has stopped gaining further experience towards level 18, so she's decided that this level is the level also. Even though she was halfway through leveling up to the next level, but it's all about their run luck here, and if they can hold on to that MP. By my thinking, I feel like they both could burn one and still be okay against the Dragon Lord, although it would be very close. Sparkover choosing to fight the werewolf now, so maybe she is deciding to pick and choose her spots. She's defense breaking. So that's interesting. For example, that could come into play if she does need to burn, let's say, 2 or even 3 heal mores. She could maybe continue on with the thought that the next level could more power to make the Dragon Lord fight viable without going back to an inn. So, things happening here. Sparkover on the penultimate, about to. Oh my goodness! Excellent night on the Axe Knight. Excellent move, rather, and she's less than, well, just a little over 1,000 experience away. Any heal mores yet, so she doesn't really need this next level unless she runs into a problem. So, running away from an Armor Knight successfully. Killing an Axe Knight along the way. It's here between fighting and running for Sparkover. Meanwhile, another Red Dragon looms in front of JJ, and he's having trouble running again. He's down to 4 herbs. And Green Dragon, no problem for Sparkover. So she'll be less than 1,000 experience away from another level now if she chooses to go there. And the extra 4 MP for now. Another Green Dragon bites the dust, and she gets even closer to level 18. Dragon gets in front, and she has only 43 hit points, and the Red Dragon attacks, and she's in the red. And she chooses to run while in the red. That could have been a race-ending disaster there. She fortunately runs away from the Red Dragon. Oh my goodness, and faces another one. She can't get to this mini-boss fast enough, and it is a Red Dragon! You need to use a heal more here, most likely, unless she gets some really good attacks. Fortunately, it's going her way so far, and oh my goodness, 3 shots of her MP. Uses her 4th herb. Gets to the Dragon Lord, and JJ's on the bottom floor now. Right on her heels. Her Knight gets in the way now, and she runs away from that. Oh my goodness, she's risking a heal walk. What is this? With 97 hit points, enough's enough. She faces Dragon Lord 1. She's first to the Dragon Lord by probably about a minute, unless something is... Oh, is JJ going to... Oh, JJ fought Dragon on his... If that Red Dragon had dodged, he was dead. To conserve his MP. And now, 93 hit points going into the Dragon Lord 2 fight. Will she get ambushed? No! So she's in the driver's seat now. She... Fight. And does get 2 attacks on the first. So, she should have some MP to spare here. Something would really have to go disastrous for her to fail this. Lord 2. And we have JJ defeating Dragon Lord 1. This is literally 1 minute apart. and not ambushed for JJ either, is not going to be able to attack twice in the first turn, but he should still be okay. Very close. Sparkover has a small lead. They're on the same level, so they should be doing the same attack rolls. But attack rolls can vary, and you could potentially kill the Dragon Lord 1 or 2 turns quicker than your opponent here in this situation. Finish. An hour and 20 minutes or so into this race, and they're neck and neck, both fighting the Dragon Lord. With virtually no chance of double attacks, they just need to hope that they have enough heal mores to withstand. Or even in a situation here where you could potentially get unlucky heal more rolls and have to double heal. But Sparkover does it with room to spare. And she acquires the Ball of Light, and she's casting Return back to the king. Sparkover with a slim but well-deserved victory. Talking to the king to make it official as soon as he's done. But done. She is all done, and JJ pretty much down to his final swing against the Dragon Lord. I think this next attack should probably do it. JJ talking to the king, and he is done as well. Great tournament for JJ. He just could not quite overcome that experience deficit, the lead that Sparkover had gained experience-wise through the middle portion of the race. He closed the gap as much as he could, but he couldn't quite overtake over the end. It was a close one. Sparkover first to find keys. Wasn't a huge factor, but she did get that Erdrick Sword a little bit faster. More seeds, so not a big factor, but she did pull away and gain a bit of an experience lead. And my goodness, it came down to those Charlock dives, full of red dragons. Unbelievable. Here in Discord.
Hi, is this microphone set up?
Sparkover. Congratulations. The volume seems low on my end, but I can hear you. Congratulations. That was a really close race. Sparkover.
Yeah, apparently.
Congratulations. The volume seems low on my end, but I can hear you.
Is that a little
Congratulations.
better?
That was a really close race. Hopefully everyone in chat can hear as well. So tell me about the seed. What did you think of the various types of challenges you faced? Everyone in chat can hear as well. So
do something. There's an echo somewhere. I thought maybe it was my fault, but I don't think it is. Anyway.
Dewey says he fixed that. So,
okay.
Yeah,
anyway.
What did you think about this seed, Sparkover? What sort of challenges did you face in this one?
My silliest things in the race were definitely forgetting that Garenham has the silver shield and doing bad math when I got to the level. You probably saw me dancing around a little bit and not exactly knowing what to do. It's because I realized, wait a second, this math is bad. So
you figured that out when you did, because JJ was right on your heels grinding the blue dragon while you were trying to figure out whether you should leave. So yeah, interesting decisions there. The math was it was, yeah, you had to think about it a little bit, but you came to the right answer. And then Red Dragons anyway, even though you had high agility and high, so, you know, with the Silver Shield, you had all sorts of defense. Red Dragons were still a problem.
They were pretty rude. But
It
yeah,
was interesting because at the end, to an untimely exit from Charlock, and then you had to run back and refill on your herbs. And while you were doing that, JJ walked right by you, and he went into Charlock, so he had a lead for a while. But then he got sent back as well. So it went back and forth at the end. It was exciting to watch.
Yeah, I thought I had used more than one herb. If I knew it was only one, I probably wouldn't have gone back for it because I felt panicked, but oh well, it turned out.
Now, you had a slightly different approach in the early game. You ended up exploring the world a little bit earlier than JJ did. He ended up grinding a little bit on the Zone 1 enemies with Hurtmore, and that allowed you to find keys a little bit faster than he did. It wasn't a really big factor in this one because you had Hurtmore, but it did put you in front with exploration. You rounded up everything you needed to a little bit faster.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I felt like my exploration was pretty decent, other than the forgetting the Silver Shield place. But other than that, you know, I had figured out that I had all the key items, or at least I just needed the token before going into the mountain cave or the grave. I did find the grave. I just didn't go into it. But yeah, so I found out that, so I didn't have to waste time going through those until I wanted to do the gold grind.
It's always tricky to balance whether or not you should be exploring or leveling up further, and there were a lot of deaths by both of you, so it wasn't like it was that easy to get around on the map. But you did increase your experience lead over time, and he just couldn't quite catch up to you. So congratulations for that. I couldn't tell now if we have also JJ in the Discord.
Yep, I'm here.
JJ, what a race!
Hello.
Congratulations. That was a good race.
Thank you. Yeah, that was definitely close. So, I mean, that's always a good way to finish off, I'd say.
What did you think about the seed overall, JJ? What sort of challenges did you encounter?
I think with no heal or really any heal, it was hard to explore for me in the middle game. Just because we kept running into blue dragons, red dragons, armored knights. I kept getting sent back before I found anything.
Yeah, I agree. And we were just chatting. There was a little bit of a difference of approaches where you found that little desert tile next to one of the early towns, and you grinded up to level 6, 7, and 8, I think, on those early enemies, while she was out there doing some successful exploring along the way. She found keys a little bit faster. But I agree that it's a little bit of an issue when you don't have healing. So you're not sure how much exploring you're really going to be able to get done. So that was interesting to watch. Through quite a few matches. So congratulations on a good tournament there. Is going to be moving forward to face, I believe, High Spirits in the what are they calling this? The Poltergeist quarterfinals.
I have played High Spirits heads up many times, and I think I've only ever beaten him once, so that's definitely intimidating. In fact, I believe he's the one who sent me out of the tournament last time, so I'm a little worried.
Well, one to look forward to. I'm trying to think of what else happened in this one that maybe was different. It definitely, you'll have to watch the replay because at the end it got very exciting. JJ did a nice job rounding up all the items at the end and started closing the experience gap. He seemed to make his turn for Sharlock a bit faster than you. In fact, I think he went that way on 16 with the intention of getting 17 on the way.
Yeah.
Ended up dying in Sharlock. It looked like at the end it could have gone either way, despite the fact that you, Sparkover, did have, at one point, I think almost a 2,000 point experience lead. But yeah, it was a nail biter. Always exciting. We've had several exciting ones at the end. Not sure what you guys were feeling towards the end. It must have been stressful with those dives.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was torn. I mean, during my final dive, I was almost playing with the idea of fighting my way down, but only on the weaker enemies. And just when I got to the bottom, I knew that I wasn't going to make the level unless I actually took the time to do it, and I really felt like I had it anyway. I don't know. But
yeah, I noticed that, Sparkover, which was an interesting decision because let's say you got into a situation on the bottom floor where you had to burn a couple of heal mores. Extra level then would allow you to go forward. You know, if you had decided to continue on and get those last few hundred experience points after burning a couple of heal mores, that may have actually been good for you. So maybe having that option at the end, but it turned out that you saved all of your MP, so you didn't really need it.
oh yeah, I didn't want to use any MP going down, so that
I thought.
That was for sure.
So I don't know. Any more thoughts, guys? We're going to be looking forward to more races. They're only getting tougher from here, it looks like, as you said. Looking forward to a date with high spirits. He's been doing quite well so far, and so have you. So that should be a good, exciting, competitive match. Congrats to you, JJ. Hopefully you're going to be sticking around within the community and running casual races. It's been fun. You've done quite a few practice seeds over the last couple of weeks. It seems like you've been improving from race to race. So hopefully we'll look forward to more races from you.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's what I did want to say is I just started playing in June. So if anybody's watching out there thinking, you know, teetering on deciding to join the community and start racing, this is a great game to do it. It's easy to pick up. Everybody's willing to share insights and math and help. And it's fun. It's always interesting. So I would have...
Exactly, that's what's been drawing me in as well, is the community of people involved here are just really fun and positive people. So is exciting to play. Racing in general is fun. So yeah, everybody that's watching should start participating as quickly as possible. Maybe we'll have an even bigger tournament next year. We'll see. Well, thank you for an exciting race. I guess that'll be it for us here on Randomizer Mania. Let's see. I don't know if quickly we can see what the schedule's looking like for later in the week. Maybe someone in chat will help with that. We have some tentative in about a week and a half. We're going to be coming up on the Winners Bracket Grand Final pretty soon. We've got a lot of other races to schedule in before that, so there'll be plenty of action. One for tonight on Randomizer Mania, so I guess we'll sign off. Thanks everybody for watching tonight's race, and we'll see you at the next one.